Leela and her brother Chuck were told to go outside quickly one evening to fetch some firewood. Actually, this should have been done a long time ago, but as always, Chuck had spent too much time chasing the chickens and throwing eggs at Leela. As a punishment, because they were always arguing, they both had to go, which Leela thought was totally unfair. As they walked towards the forest, Chuck suggested a competition. Whoever found at least 5 large logs first would be the one who had to go out alone next time. Since Leela was older, she was pretty sure she would win this bet and agreed. But as they separated and Leela went deeper into the forest, she regretted her decision. It had become quite dark, and she jumped at every unknown sound. Twigs snapped near her, even though she couldn't see any animals, and the wind howled through the trees. It sounded really eerie, like ghosts talking to each other, she thought. She was so distracted that she suddenly looked around in confusion. The path seemed unfamiliar all of a sudden. Had she gotten lost? Today, of all days, when it was already so late and dark? Uncertainly, she put one foot in front of the other when she suddenly froze. In front of her, on a cliff, she saw a huge castle with clouds of mist swirling around it. At that exact moment, a flash of lightning zipped across the sky, and she thought she saw a figure at the window of the castle. Leela held her breath. Her heart seemed to be beating very loudly now, and at the next flash of lightning, she saw someone running towards the castle gate. Chuck. She shouted loudly for him to come back, but suddenly a thunder roared so loudly that Chuck surely couldn't hear her. Finally, he was already through the gate, and Leela sighed and ran after him. After all, he was her little brother, and she had to look after him. Arriving at the castle, she carefully opened the huge entrance gate, which creaked terribly. Inside, everything was completely dark and still. Carefully, she entered the castle, and when her eyes had adjusted a little to the darkness, she saw that the room was full of huge pictures in thick frames. In the pictures, only huge, old-looking faces could be seen. Some of them seemed to smile at her, while others almost laughed at her. A few looked so angry that Leela got goosebumps as she walked on. A loud thumping in the next room made her jump. Had something happened to Chuck? As she walked further, she noticed that the eyes in the pictures seemed to follow her. Their facial expressions also changed slowly. It looked as if the faces in the pictures were laughing at her. Arriving at the door, she peeked carefully into the next room. Total darkness, however, let her see nothing. She waited for the next flash of lightning to light up the room through the many large windows whose outlines she could see. When it finally happened, she was amazed. Bravely, she stepped into the room where suddenly a fire floating in the air slowly came towards her. After she blinked once more and took a calm breath, she realized it wasn't actually floating in the air at all. It was a torch slowly approaching. And behind the torch, an old face was visible, whose expression looked exactly like the ones in the paintings. In the light of the torch, she now recognized something else. Her brother Chuck was sitting on the floor, right in front of her, trembling all over and pleading. "Please, please, don't do anything to me. I'll be good again. I'll follow the rules. I won't annoy my sister anymore. I won't throw eggs, I promise." Suddenly the voice behind the torch laughed and said, "Those are very good resolutions, and you should definitely stick to them, but Why should I do anything to you? Are you not a witch? Chuck asked, stammering. That made the old woman laugh. But of course I am, she cried, which made Chuck tremble even more, and Leela felt quite uneasy too. But the witch continued, But why should I do anything to little children? Have you heard too many fairy tales about wicked witches? I live here in the castle, and I love to paint more than anything. And the only magic spell I sometimes use is to make my paintings talk. You see, I'm quite lonely in this huge castle, and no one visits me anymore, since my children moved away many, many years ago. You have children? Leela asked in astonishment before remembering that she was actually still quite afraid. The witch chuckled. Yes, I have children, and no wart on my nose, and I don't eat little children either. I think I need to teach you a bit about witches. We have such a bad reputation, quite unfairly, really. Most of us are vegetarians, because we can talk to animals, and it really wouldn't be proper to eat a conversational partner. I don't know myself why people hear such bad nonsense about us. Probably they are just jealous because they can't do magic themselves. Anyway, do you want to stay for dinner? There's seaweed soup. Chuck had composed himself a bit by now, and answered with a voice that still trembled suspiciously. We have to go back and bring the firewood. Our parents are surely looking for us already. Well then, cried the witch, but do visit me sometime. The stories of the paintings are getting a bit boring. Every one of them only has exactly one story they can tell. And painting a new picture takes quite a long time. Since that day, the two children visited the witch every week for dinner and told her ghost stories, because those were the witch's favorite stories.